You sounded less like Seth Rollins and more like Drew McIntyre.
WWE's Seth Rollins explains why he hasn't gotten over issues with CM Punk. CM Punk and Seth Rollins recently main evented the first ever Monday Night Raw on Netflix. And in their clash to kick off their rivalry, the Second City Saint ended up walking away with a victory. However, ahead of their match, Rollins notably sat down for an interview with WWE's Jackie Redmond, where he suggested that their rivalry will likely go on for a long time. If it was just me, I kind of feel like I could have gotten over it, but it wasn't just me that he stabbed in the back, Rollins said while describing Punk's 2014 exit out of the pro wrestling industry, and recalled how the veteran ended up writing everybody off, even his friends, for no other reason than because they wouldn't leave this place, WWE, and go side with him. Rollins further criticized Punk for jumping ship while things got rough, and how he had to be one of the people who tried to build things up while the Second City Saint actively criticized WWE from afar. He actively wanted the place to die, he added. He thought that would make him some sort of missing piece, like he wasn't here and this thing couldn't go on without him. Rollins then claimed that he made WWE bigger, and now Punk wants to come back and reclaim the same spot he had in 2014. He thinks that it's just frozen in time and we all are in the same roles, and he can just look down and talk down to everybody that was in those positions before, Rollins explained. But I'm not a deckhand anymore. I'm the captain. I run this ship. Seth Rollins responds to WWE Locker Room, welcoming CM Punk back with open arms. WWE Raw's Netflix debut ended with CM Punk getting the win over Seth Rollins, who has been reserved regarding the Second City Saints' return to the promotion. Prior to the Punk match, Rollins spoke to Jackie Redmond for WWE and opened up about the WWE Locker Room, welcoming his opponent back with open arms. I'm not too surprised. I think if he and I didn't have the relationship we did, look, there's no doubt about CM Punk. He's good for business. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that, Rollins remarked. I understand from a business perspective why you would want him around, and a lot of these guys and girls in the locker room, they just don't have the relationship with him that I had. They don't feel that way about him. They didn't feel that way about him 10 years ago. They didn't know him 20 years ago. When Rollins was an up-and-comer, he attempted to train under CM Punk. Rollins was brought up to the WWE main roster in 2012 with the Shield, originally as mercenaries for then WWE champion Punk, who later feuded with the faction. After Punk left WWE in January 2014, Rollins broke out as a single star and became one of the company's top performers. But there is still some bad blood between the pair. Punk is not tough, he dipped. He's not tough. I stuck it out when it was garbage, when I was getting dumped on over and over by everyone inside the company and outside the company. I stayed here, and so I took all those attacks from everybody outside of here, WWE, and from him very personally. Very personally, Rollins said, referring to Punk's public insulting of WWE during his company absence. A Seth Rollins heel turn could be coming, former WWE personality says. All Seth Rollins has today are broken promises made to the WWE Universe. CM Punk ended him in the main event of Raw's Netflix premiere. Seth Rollins fumbled at the opportunity to humble the best in the world. This curious decision by Triple H and his band of creatives prompted former WWE writer Freddie Prinze Jr. to wonder whether the architect is due for a heel turn. Speaking on his podcast, Wrestling with Freddie Prinze Jr. praised the grudge match from last week, but admitted that the result caught him off guard. He claimed that as a former writer for the company, he was taught that a babyface who made bold statements the way Seth did could only go one way, a babyface win. But since Rollins lost, perhaps the game has other plans. I thought CM Punk should have lost that match. I thought it should have been Seth Rollins. I could already see the promo Seth was going to cut on Monday. You son of a B************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************ All the promises that Seth made in his promos are broken promises. A babyface can't have that. At least, that's how I was taught. So, I guess maybe they're going to turn him heel. Seth Rollins will face Drew McIntyre next on WWE Raw. Seth Rollins interrupted CM Punk's opening promo on this week's Raw. Drew McIntyre followed. All three bitter rivals engaged in a war of words. Each one declared their participation in the Men's Royal Rumble on February 1st. Interestingly, the Scottish psychopath's decision to enter the Rumble did not have anything to do with Punk or Rollins specifically. He has become obsessed with getting back at the Bloodline, who broke his dream of winning the WWE title on his home turf 2 years ago, which sparked a curse for the Scot. Drew McIntyre wants to stop Roman Reigns, whose participation in the Rumble was declared by the Wiseman on Friday. Seth Rollins wants to stop CM Punk. As for the best in the world, all he wants to do is main event the grandest spectacle in the wrestling industry for the first time in his career. Following the confrontation as seen in the clip above, WWE announced a singles match between the Architect and the Scottish Psychopath for next week's Raw. The WrestleMania 40 Rewind match has already created significant buzz for the upcoming episode. WWE veteran exposes major flaw with CM Punk and Seth Rollins opening segment. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo feels the segment involving CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre on Raw could have been booked better. The three stars set the tone for the Monday night show this week. CM Punk kicked off the latest edition of Raw by announcing that he will be entering the Men's Royal Rumble this year. He was interrupted by Seth Rollins, who was irate after his loss last week. Rollins claimed that he would redeem himself by winning the Rumble this year. Drew McIntyre also showed up and announced himself for the 30-man match, claiming that someone needed to stop Roman Reigns. That on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, Vince Russo complained that the three biggest stars of the show were not seen after the first segment. The veteran writer felt that top names, such as CM Punk, McIntyre, and Rollins, should have been featured throughout the program to keep fans hooked and stop viewership from falling. Here you have arguably the three biggest stars on the show. After the first segment, they're gone. That's not how you write television, bro. Russo continued, "It doesn't make any sense, man. These are your big stars, man. They should be on the show from beginning to the end." With this week's announcement, 5 former world champions have entered the Royal Rumble match. This includes John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. With such star power in the Rumble, it will be hard to predict who emerges as the eventual winner. Seth Rollins is heartbroken after huge setback, makes an announcement. Seth Rollins made an immediate impact this week on WWE Raw, wasting no time in making his way out to the ring in the opening segment. However, the star also made an announcement after revealing he was heartbroken. CM Punk was out addressing the fans and talking about the Rumble when Seth came out to the ring. Rollins declared that he had said he would meet Punk in TH.